Stop me again. So this is my room, my little humble abode. As you can tell, I have a GameCube. It's a console that came out in the early 2000s, VCR player. Pretty low-key lifestyle, laid back. I'm still working on trying to be neat. What I like to do for my spare time. Sometimes I'll go on my computer. A few games I play there. Sometimes I'll watch the news or social media. I play this game. It was one of my favorite. It was one of, if not my all-time favorite game from when I was a kid. Other games I played was Luigi's Mansion, Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Party. But when I was a kid, I was never really allowed to play games all that much because, I had a lot of anger problems. I was diagnosed with Asperger's at the age of 3, and that doesn't have anything to do with games really, but I used to get so heated and competitive with them, but nowadays I'm just laid back. Anyway, other leisure time activities, I have a few things I watch sometimes. Whoa, whoops. I'm a nature fanatic. I've always been fascinated with Mother Nature. Recently, I've been interested in geological events, prehistoric documentaries. You see, we have Walking with Dinosaurs, by BBC. Others are Walking with Monsters. It takes place, the Cambrian explosion from the Silurian period to the Devonian period, up until the early Triassic period before the dinosaurs. Other activities I like to do. I'm a runner. I used to do cycling, but things have been so hectic lately. And I just got through a busy week. I'm broke at the moment, but hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I get paid in the next 2 weeks. So hopefully I should be able to recover. Had a big, enormous bill that I had to take care of. I don't want to get much in detail. Because a lot of that's classified. What else do I want to mention? I just started CrossFit recently. A very good friend of mine actually runs the place. We used to do Taekwondo together. Made a lot of friends through it. That's pretty much all I can tell you for right now. I used to use Strava, and then I began to tire of it. Apparently, I used to take a lot of things too seriously. That was one of them. And began to tire of it because of it. Not worth it. And I used to use it as a journal documentary. If you want to, just keep in mind, if you want to do things related to others, just don't let emotions get the best of you. Don't get too competitive with things, because I made this mistake with basketball. I played basketball for 2 years, varsity basketball. I played Special Olympics basketball for 7 years. People with differences, differently abled. Anyway, interesting story, matter of fact. My story with basketball dates back to my teenagers. And it all basically, led me to going to college. Basketball was the reason I wanted to go to college. I didn't care so much about the majors and the homework, I never wanted to go to school, and I used to be a rebel big time. And then as time went on, I decided this ain't working, so I made the decision to, do the homework, get good grades, study, never mind the social environment. Anyway, this book here will tell you, about my life playing basketball. The events that led to college, to me going to college. Anyway, so here's my story. I'm afraid the things will be blurry. We would like to dedicate this book to Springbrook, the school I was brought to because I had a lot of behavioral problems. An organization in upstate New York that is committed to making a difference for people with disabilities, or in more appropriate term, differences. I'm going to say differences because there's a lot of controversy with the word disability. I might have to do a little bit more research on that later on. For all their hard work and support in helping me become who I am today. To Hannah Kuhn for helping put this book together, to getting it to print, and especially to my sister, who has been a very good friend, advocate, role model, and fellow basketball enthusiast. Stupid thing. I hate these things sometimes. Tripods. So, that's me when I was in high school. This is back about 6 years ago. My mother's words, I was at the Oneonta Boys and Girls Club watching my daughter play basketball. Thomas was about 8 years old. While the game was going on, I kept one eye on Bess, who was playing, and another on Thomas, who was barely keeping it together. As I was mentioning earlier in the movie, Laugh Out Loud. Because I never wanted to listen to anybody when I was a kid. I was always the commander-in-chief my own way. King Thomas. He was having a hard time dealing with the stimulation of the gym. It was bright, loud, echoing a lot of movement. And Thomas had no concept of basketball. He was not interested in the game. He was walking along the bleachers, running his hands over things. His face was ashen, and you could see that he was angry and frustrated. He was staying in the gym, but he just didn't want to be there. Yeah, I never wanted to do anything when I was a kid, you know. I think that's like with all children. I don't know, but I mean, I've never been around it too much. I mean, I was never interested. As the game was coming to an end, a group of boys started to gather on the sidelines. They were not interested in the game going on. They were interested in the game ending. Each boy had a basketball in one hand. There were tall boys, short boys, young boys, and older boys. When the timer on the board was getting closer to 10 seconds, there were at least 30 boys gathered. When it got When it got to 10 seconds, all boys counted down together. 10, 9, 8, 7, and whatever. Buzzer beater. 30 balls throughout the air at the basket. 30 balls flew throughout the air at the basket. Forget my English. Before the girls even got off the court. All the boys flew on and started playing Pure Bliss. Boys of every shape and size obsessed with the same passion. I looked on longingly and said, I want one of those boys, and so begins our story. This used to be me. This used to be me. Fuck. My name is Tom Slicer. I enjoyed basketball when I was a kid. When I was 11, I joined the Springbrook Scorpions Special Olympics basketball team and went to practice every Saturday. I played in my first game at Albany Academy. I scored a basket at the beginning of the game. It felt great. Now, Special Olympics, it's like any age group. It's like any age, you know. I was just a peewee, and, you know, the guys that I played with, they were all twice my age and were twice as big as I am. It was pretty awkward, you can tell me. My sister plays basketball too. She's very good. We like to play together. Every year the Scorpions played in Special Olympics tournaments. Each year we played at a different high school and college. That's what the environment was like. This is an error because apparently I forgot to put coloring on. I mean, like, as with everyone, nobody's perfect. The first time we played at Albany Academy and stayed overnight in the dorms, I really enjoyed it and decided I wanted to go to college. And this is how it all started. Books. Kind of hard flipping pages one hand. My mother said if you want to go to college, you have to start doing well in school. School started to become a priority to me. Important to me. That's where everything had to change. You know, I had to toughen up, I had to man up. It was not an easy road for me. I studied and worked hard, moved up in my classes, moved up in my class, worked very quickly, still played basketball. Mom asked me if if I wanted to visit Oneonta High School. We did, and I liked it. I decided I want to go to public school, redeem myself from my childhood. I decided I want to go back to public school and to play on a high school basketball team. I was very excited. Said goodbye to my friends at Springbrook. Yeah, about that, it was a very huge leap. And this is basically an inspiring story because, my friends and family can tell you about this. Anyway. So I couldn't wait to see what I could do. Now, I didn't know what to make of high school. I didn't know what friends I might be making. I didn't know what the outcome would be. I didn't know how I didn't know how things were gonna pan out. No, I had my fingers crossed, from a kid going from making a transition from Special Olympics to high school basketball. It's a very serious deal. I'm not sure if anyone else has tried this. You can always mention the comments. I enjoyed high school. The teachers were nice, and they believed in me. They've always had faith in me. My first year, I attended PE math special ed program. I also tried out for varsity basketball. You know what? Guess what? After all my hard work, my sheer dedication paid off. I made the team. My first game, I made a three-pointer. Everyone stood up and screamed. It was amazing. And I've been a popular guy ever since. I've had a lot of, I was a very likable guy. Had a lot of, a lot of support. Even the ladies love me. The second year, I tried out again and made it. When I play, people shout out my name. When I score, they scream. And it's true. It's true. So my second year, I took PE, math, and U.S. history and Spanish. I had a lot of homework. I worked hard, as always. Right. And the last page, eventually, I aged out of high school basketball. I still had one more year ahead of me. I did track and field. I was never interested in running at the time. Because I was more focused on basketball. My dream was, to be an NBA star, or, at first, but also to play in the NCAA. My goal was to play in the NCAA. But as soon as I got into college, I was able to get my GED and everything. But as soon as I got into college, I unfortunately came up short. Was cut from the team. Was down for months. After all that hard work, years of dedication, it was really a heartbreaker. And I had to resort to another thing, to another activity why is this thing still on? Garmin watch is still on. And I had to resort to another thing, another activity. Then along came running in early 2015. And I didn't know what to make of it. At first, I would always be running every other day. I was always a big junk food eater. I craved on chocolate. I had a sweet tooth. Pauses. What else? Yeah, the first few years, it was a bit of a struggle, I would always be maintaining, just under 20 pace, up until early 2018. Well, before that, I ran track and field in college for 2 years. Managed to make a lot of friends doing that. Pretty great group of boys. Yeah, college is a lot of work. Had a lot of advice, had to learn a lot, but I kind of wanted to do my own thing. Didn't have the best diet. The food wasn't, the best. A lot of crap. I'm sure every college is like that. 2018 was a bit of a pain, because that's when I started working full-time. Be up there in a minute. Family.
Dinner's ready.
Okay. Family. 2018 was a pain, so that's when I started working full-time. Was under a lot of pressure to finding work. Stuck with running. Winter's a difficult time for runners. Still struggling to get better. Perhaps I was lacking the training. Perhaps I had to change my diet. Then mid-2018, things began to change. I began to tire of junk food. I don't even want to look at it anymore. I only have very little junk food at this point. If you do plan to run competitively, or run just because you enjoy it, or just because you have goals, just keep in mind, watch what you eat. Abs come in the kitchen. I learned this years ago from a lady that used to personal train me. You should never eat sugar. I'm talking artificially processed sugar. No fast food. No fat. I'm sorry. Scratch that. No bread. The only time you should have fat is if you're doing like a marathon. Because fat gets converted into energy. Where, which can be used, for the long term. I learned this in science. Anyway, mid-October, I discovered that, the changes I made were working. My PR for the 5K is now under 17:30, which that's been a major, improvement. And, hopefully I'll get better. Well, just going to wrap it up for this video for now. Don't forget, subscribe. And see everyone out there in the next video.